Hey everyone, and welcome to this month's episode of Grow Wealthy Grooming. I'm your host, and my name is River Lee, and I'm the founder of The Savvy Groomer, where I teach groomers to go from being burnt out, broken to healthy and wealthy, happy building a grooming business on your terms. Now, this is the virtual happy hour. I have myself what's called a French martini. Hey everyone, hey Christina, hey guys. Shake, 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 shake. Get your favorite cocktail. If it'll pour this all over me, that would be classic. And if you have questions, now is the time to go ahead and put them in the chat. We're going to be collecting them and answering them right here live. So I'm excited to be here. We do have some questions that have already been screened. However, if you are here live and you have a question, we're here for you. Yeah. So what I'm drinking, guys, is a French martini because it's Monday, and Mondays are my long days. I have taught classes. I have had coaching calls. I'm ready for this. So what this is it's pineapple juice, vodka, and Chambord. Normally it's more of a pink color, but it's all good. That's because my pineapple juice is just a little more yellow than usual. It's fresh pineapple. I bought this like really yummy fresh pineapple. Coffee for you? That's good. It's a little late for me right now. 7 o'clock now. I'll be 8 o'clock soon. So let's go ahead and start working. And like I said, guys, if you have questions, put it right in the chat and we'll answer them together. So let's go ahead. Pop open the first question. So someone asked, I want to raise prices by a percentage instead of a dollar amount. What seems to be a common percentage? So as you guys know, I don't like these kind of cookie cutter answers. So I'll do my best answer. So in the price increase masterclass, I see an average increase of 20 to 30%. I see across the board an average of 20 to 30% increase. That said, a lot of you guys have not increased your big dogs enough, so you're going to see a huge jump. I've seen, in small dogs, 20 or 30%. And then when you guys get to big dogs, I see an average of 50 to 100%, which means you guys are literally doubling your big dog prices. But that's also because a lot of you guys come to things like the price increase masterclass charging like $60 for a Shih Tzu and then like $100 for a doodle, a 50-pound doodle. And we have to go, actually, if you're charging $60 for a Shih Tzu, minimally should be $120 for the doodle, if not $200 to $500. So that would be a much larger jump than the 20 to 30%, like I just said. That said, I also think that you need to make sure the first time you set your prices, it's based upon your metrics and your KPIs, and you've gone through the class, you've figured out what you've invested, how much more you need to invest in your business, things like sinking funds and emergency funds, right? We want to make sure that we're really getting all of those numbers together. And then every year, I like to see you guys go up by a flat number. Now, that is because I like nice, even round numbers, and so do most people. So if you are charging $60, it's a lot easier to go from 60 to 65 than 20%, right? Because if I'm lazy and I pull out my calculator and I go $60 times 20%, that's $12. Now, next year, instead of being like 65 or even 70, now this groom is now $72, which is a weird number, right? And then the following year, I go from $72, I'm going to increase it by 20%. That'd be a lot, but let's say you're going to do that. It's $14.40. It's a weird number, right? That's a lot. Versus saying, okay, every year I'm going to go up $5 or $10. It's a nice, easy number. It's a number that clients can do. We don't want our customers to have to do math. Nobody wants to have to do math, unfortunately, especially you guys, right? You really don't. So I encourage you to actually go ahead and choose, right, to just make it a nice, simple, easy amount. Also, people like knowing how much things are going to be. So if I know every year, on average, it's going up about $5, that's a lot easier than this random number that you're going to pull out of your hat. And then you can say, listen, normally I would have gone 5 because of inflation. We're going to go up to 10, right? Nice, easy, round number. Make it easy for your customers. I know it sounds crazy, but I definitely think that when you do things that are easy and they don't confuse your client, it makes them a lot happier. So, like I said, if you guys are here and you're live, please feel free to add questions to the live chat. We will be answering them and other questions that we already have. It's so fantastic. I'm so happy. Here is our next question. Might not all fit, but we'll try. So I'm a new mobile business, 4 months, and I'm considering implementing a requirement for clients to keep a schedule. I really can't afford to lose a bunch of clients as I have 62 human clients. How do I go about implementing this change? So here's the truth. Anytime you're asking people to make changes, anytime you're asking people to act a different way than the way they quote unquote want to act, there's a good chance you're going to lose them, right? It's kind of like saying, I want this guy to be my boyfriend, but I'm going to force him to be my boyfriend. But if he's not, then I'm not going to leave him. You can't have it both ways. You're going to set a boundary and you're going to set an expectation. There's potentially consequences. So, excuse you. What are you doing? None of that, sir. You don't do that on camera. It's gross. You gonna come up or what? Listen, make a decision. You won't make a decision. Terrible cat. So, what I would say is that you have to get really specific. Is the goal to have anybody and any money, or is it to have the right clients? Now, you can start doing things by saying to them, listen, I'm going to have X amount of monthly clients. My goal is to have 100 monthly clients. Once I have those every 4-week clients, I can no longer offer 6 or 8 week clients those spots. And you let them know in the future, you may not have those spots. That would be a way to not force them to change, right? But there are consequences. And the consequences happen in the future when you have more clients. That is one way of getting around that. Another way is to make right now pricing. If you come in every 4 weeks, it's $100. If you come every 6 weeks, it's $150. If you come every 8 weeks, it's $200. It's another way of implementing that. But you can't have both, right? You can't say, I can't lose clients and I need to have more requirements for them. The only other way of doing that is to have things like a membership. And again, people can leave. So it is kind of tough in the beginning because you have to decide, do you want to build it low and slow with the right people and you're going to weed all those people at the beginning, or do you want to have lots of clients and then you're going to change things up and you're going to piss a lot of people off and then you're going to fix it then? It's really preference, right? A lot of us will tell you the way we did it is we had lots and lots of clients, and then we were able to say, actually, we only want these clients. And then we lost a lot of clients, and we had the ability to do so. And some of us have, built it up slowly, and that's a little different. I teach in the Savvy Groomer. Ideally, we would have at least 3 to 6 months, if not 6 months to a year worth of business expenses. And when you have 6 months to a year worth of business expenses sitting in the bank and personal expenses, you can take 6 months to a year to build that business up the right way. With 4 months and having 62 human clients, that means you have at least 62 pets. That's actually a good amount of pets as long as you are charging appropriately. I would actually go ahead through your client list and highlight, okay, how many people here are 4 week and 6 week and 8 week? And again, what is the consequence that I want to put into what's going on in order, right, to make these people go every 4 weeks? Everything has consequences like that. You have to make decisions on what you're willing or unwilling, right, to deal with. So thank you so much. And again, if you guys are coming here live, feel free to go ahead and add questions. We're going to be answering questions for the next 45 minutes. Your questions, yeah, I'm a big fan. Okay, so let me pop open the next one. I can copy and paste. So I have been thinking about doing my prices as all-inclusive add-ons and raising my groom prices accordingly. Does anyone do this? And if so, how has it been going for you? And can you give examples of what to include and how to price your groups? So I'm a big fan of, as a professional, you should know what the pet needs. I don't think it's appropriate for owners to make decisions on the care of their pets as far as a professional, right? I don't think somebody should decide if their dog gets a D-shed or not. Does your dog need a D-shed or does it not need a D-shed? I don't think, if we're on like, well, it depends, it doesn't matter. Well, if your dog doesn't need a D-shed, then it doesn't need a D-shed. If it needs it, it needs it. If your pet needs a specific shampoo, I don't think it's appropriate to charge more for it. I just don't. Again, unless we're talking about very, very, very specific things like using, very, without naming names, like certain like spa treatments that literally sit on the dog for 15 to 20 minutes or take a long time to wash out. That's very different. But the average groom, right? The majority of the groom really should be whatever we think the pet needs. If we believe they need this shampoo, we should be able to use the shampoo as professional. I never understand when someone says, oh, well, we charge more for hypo shampoo. And I'm like, okay, so if a pet has a scent allergy and it needs hypo shampoo, do you then not do the hypo shampoo if they don't pay the extra $5 or $10? No, you end up doing it. You just don't end up charging the client. Because what are you going to do? Just give the pet that and then for better or for worse, like the pet has an allergic reaction? That's not what's going to happen. So that pricing should be based on a lot of factors. How much are your products? If you're using products, and I hate naming products, if you're using a low-end product where the gallon is like $20, $25, or there's the gallon $100 a gallon, how much is your shampoo? And again, there's brands I don't like and brands I do like. A high-end expensive brand that we used to use in my grooming business was Le Pooch. It's a high expensive brand. I think it's worth it, but everyone's different. Mid-range, at one point, we really loved Show Seasons. I really thought that was a really great value brand. It's not super cheap. It's not really expensive. It's a great value one. So I've been thinking about doing my prices with all-inclusive add-ons. And so again, what add-ons do you want to normally do in your salon? So if you believe that every single dog should have nail grinding, then that should be included in what you do. What do you believe as a groomer? What do you believe in as a business? What do you believe is the very best that the pet should get? What should every pet get? We used to file every pet's nails. We used to do breath foam on every pet. We did, at the time, Blueberry Facial was totally different, right? And I think that's really important, right? Ooh, excuse you. Because what does your business believe? And then obviously the thing with price increases, guys, and how to price things is really create a 6-hour class on how to figure out how to price, how to tell clients prices, etc. I wish I could tell you basically how to price, but it depends on how much your overhead is, depends on how much your payroll is, depends on how much you as a business owner want to make. It depends on your long-term plan. It depends on so many different things. I would say this, guys, generally speaking, if you want to have a groomer making a livable wage, you need to figure out how much money that is. And in all this inclusive pricing, how could we afford to hire that groomer at 30% or less, right? And they still make a livable wage. So if you're like, okay, I'm going to charge $60 and that roughly is about $60 an hour. Is that a livable wage? If I take $60 and I do it by 30%, that's $18 an hour. In your area, can someone comfortably live on $18 an hour? And if you're not sure how much that is, right, you just take 18 times, I would do 40 just for easy math, times if you have them work 52 weeks, that's $37,000. In some areas, yes, that's more than enough to live on. In other places, that doesn't even pay your rent. So hope that helps. So we just launched our affiliate program. So what does the dashboard conversion mean sales? I see I have clicks, but I don't understand the rest. I just keep sharing and hoping. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. We just launched our affiliate program. If you haven't noticed, you can go to our website, savvygroomer.com. In fact, let me pop that up so you guys can see if you're interested. So if you go to savvygroomer.com, you see a little thing here, become an affiliate, click here. Oh, weird. Oh, I see. Boop. It opens it up in a new thing. Hang on one second. I see now. Brings you to the affiliate application. Oh, you can't see that. Boop. And you can go ahead and fill this out and you should be able to get right there. If you're having any trouble, just email me. Go to email Savvy Groomer Tech. So Savvy Groomer, TECH @gmail.com. So anytime you share your affiliate link, it's going to send people to our store, to specific sales pages, etc. And it's going to put what's called a cookie on their browser. So anytime they decide to purchase a class within the next 30 days, they're going to have their cookie on their browser for, and if they purchase, you're going to get that. So the more you share, the more chances you have. So let's say someone shares the Savvy Groomer website and someone's not quite ready to buy, but within that 30 days, they go to the link, right? They go to savvygroomer.com, they have the cookie on that page, and that person then, when they purchase, you get a commission. And that's a thank you to students. It's really important to me. You guys have been so generous to share all of, you share my links, you share all these things. And I want to thank you guys so much. It really helps us out when you guys share. And I want to make sure that we're giving back to you guys. I think that it's more than fair if you're going to share that you get a cut. I really appreciate that. So yeah, it is about when people buy. So if you're getting clicks, that means that people are clicking on the link, which means that they're getting a cookie added to their browser. And remember, it is based on each browser. So if they're using Safari and Chrome and Firefox, it's whatever browser they open. There's no way to cross-pollinate the different browsers, unfortunately. But that's what's nice is that when you share it, it puts a cookie in their browser for 30 days. And if they choose to buy from us, you're then going to get it. You're going to get 10 to 20%, depending upon if you're a Savvy Groomer member or if you're just one of our regular students. Either way, we want to make sure that you guys get paid to do all of that. I'm still on medical leave, so I'm on Facebook a lot. Absolutely. Listen, my goal for you guys is to be able to, I want to thank you for your generosity, for sharing our content. And I think that we really do need to make some step-by-step guides for you guys for the affiliate. It's on our list. Don't worry. We're going to be coming out with some things, maybe us on our YouTube channel, like ways to do it. Because I agree, it's even above a little bit of my head. I paid someone much smarter than me to help me set it up because it was a lot of information and a lot of if this and that. And I was like, I've heard of the cookie. I don't know what a cookie is. So she explained it to me. So that's the thing is like, again, remember, when it adds the cookie for 30 days, but again, if that is in a Facebook group, if that link is in a Facebook group, again, if someone new 30 days from now clicks it, that's still going to add. So that cookie is good on the browser for 30 days. So just so you know, so even if you leave that post and it's like 2 years later, someone finds your referral post, as long as they purchase something within clicking the link within 30 days. I hope that helps and explains that. It's a little long, so let me read it. Stephanie's saying, I was doing some math to see how much our prices would need to increase to reduce our payroll to 30% and pay our groomers $20 an hour. And we would have to increase our Shih Tzu prices almost $20. When you make a drastic change like that, what percentage of the clients do you expect to lose? So this is important when we say words like drastic. So $20 is not a lot of money. That said, it may seem like a lot of money, right? But if you think about it, what does $20 get you? It gets me and my son breakfast at Starbucks, right? I get a coffee, he gets a Frappuccino, and maybe 2 breakfast sandwiches. It's 2 people going out to lunch, maybe with no cocktails. It's 1 to 2 cocktails when I go out in Newport. $20 is not a ton, right? But what you can do, and again, we teach in the Price Increase Masterclass to have a letter and an announcement. It's really important when we are talking to customers for them to understand the value and the brand that we offer. Your price should be the least interesting thing about your business. So, one thing you can do, depending upon your brand voice, depending upon how close your customers are, it really depends on a lot. But one way you could do this is to tell your customers, we take paying our employees legally and paying them a livable wage really seriously. We are going to need to restructure our pay in order to pay our groomers a livable wage. Between COVID, between inflation, all of the prices of our supplies have gone up. The cost of living has gone up, and we don't want to have to pass along that to you guys, but it is what it is. And again, you would obviously play with the wording, Jamie, 50 clicks, good for you. Yeah, Jamie's saying $20 gets you a toenail trim. Right. So the $20 thing is when we say it's a drastic increase, that is in our head. It's a limiting belief. Show them where they're going to get that $20 in value, right? A lot of times we are not focusing on the value. If we are the same as Petco and PetSmart, if we are the same as every other groomer in the area, then we're doing it wrong. So I want you to think about what is the value that you offer these clients compared to everyone else? What makes you special? And if you add value besides the best haircut, I'm so sick of everyone being like, I give a good haircut. Okay, great. I get a good haircut at Supercuts, right? But I go to a hairdresser that I know, like, and trust. Why do they know you? Why do they like you? Why do they trust you? How did they find out about you, right? How did you get people to notice you? How did you get people to trust your business? How did you get them to trust you? Was it the education? Was it how you treated the pets? What was it? I think that's something we really greatly underestimate. We do suggest in the Price Increase Masterclass, you follow the steps. And, I'm really simplifying the steps. And again, this is where we create a 6-hour class on how to figure out how to price how to actually calculate how much your price increase should be, how to announce that, how to create value, and then how to communicate that price increase. And one of the major ways is find out how your clients want to be communicated with. How do they want to be communicated with? Having things like office hours, and having a heart-to-heart with them. And that could be done through a well-written letter. And again, we want to make sure it's in our brand voice. It's, accentuating our value. We do this a lot in our group mentoring where we have people going through the Price Increase Masterclass. They join our Savvy Groomer membership, which includes the group mentorship, and we work on their letters. I think a week or 2 ago, we actually did that where we broke down someone's letter. We found example letters to let their clients know of the increase. When you increase an average of 20%, you lose about 30% of people. That said, you might be like, okay, I'm going to lose that gap. But then you add new people. For you, if you're going to be doing a quote unquote large jump, and it's funny because I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, it's $20. I have students that I've had one-on-one coaching students that have had to go up $100 for a Shih Tzu because of where they live. Like there's people in Texas, man, who their house was worth nothing. Like their properties were worth nothing. And then all of a sudden it went from being worth like $20,000, $40,000 to $1 million. Like, I don't think people realize how big some of these areas boomed. There's groomers in Montana who literally were like, and again, nothing's wrong with Montana, but they were like, yeah, I literally lived near nothing. And now I'm in the center of town somehow. Right. And their commercial rent was like $400 and now it's $2,000. Right. There's so many things that we often like decide this is a big jump, and it's not as big as we think it is. And again, a lot of you guys, you don't have anything to compare it to, right? Where I have people, I'm like, yeah, $20 seems like a lot until I tell you about the student in Texas who had to go up a minimum of $100 for her small dogs. And she had to stop taking big dogs because her options were sell her property, because the tax implication was just incredible. It just went from like literally a couple $100 every like 10 years to literally like tens of like $20,000-$30,000, worth of just taxes, like insane amount. And there's things that you just can't anticipate. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like most of us, if you look at the prices of houses, no one was really worried about them, right? No one's like, oh man, as a real estate agent, how do I explain to this person the house they could have gotten 4 years ago was worth 200 and now it's 450,000, right? Oh man, if they had bought the houses before, interest rates went from 2% to like 6%, they could have bought a house worth 400, 500,000, and now they can't get approved for more than $200,000. I feel like as an industry, we take on the burdens of the economy in a weird way. So Stephanie wrote, I need a great way to explain to doodle clients why their dogs is more expensive. They aren't getting it and they fight me, especially the ones. Yeah. I think that's the thing is, I think part of that is the industry. We don't mean to explain it in that way, but it's, it's just like, oh, it's just a little dog. And it's like, so I have two things. I have one where I had actually posted an example of what I had written to somebody in a local group. And then I actually really like to share the interview I did with the Doodle Pro. So while I have it, I'm going to actually add the link to the Doodle Pro because I think I really liked that interview I did. It really helps. And also for you guys, it gives you a sense of that. You can just literally send them to that link. Let me send it right here. And again, it's a podcast. And you'd be like, oh, if you want to know, go to the Doodle Pro, right? In this one, it actually tells you why, right? I was interviewed, and that'll help. But let me actually post what I had written. Let me see if I can share this really quick. Hopefully it doesn't look. There we go. So this is what I had written. And I know it's a little bit tough for you guys to read in this. It's on one of my pages, but I know, and I can't read it. I know, hang on. Boop, made it my big screen. There we go. So I had wrote, hey, Susie Q, understand the grooming industry is going through a massive restructuring and it can be frustrating as a consumer who doesn't understand. Please know that the groomer's charging $60 for a small dog is barely making minimum wage, and they're grooming 8 to 10 dogs a day. So grooming your dog in 45 minutes or less, when it takes a minimum professionally trained groomer an hour to hour and a half. And the groomer who's been working less than 5 years, an average of 2 hours. Now, this was in response to a 20-pound doodle. So let me add that. I'm not talking about a doodle in 45 minutes. I mean, I'm not talking about a Yorkie in 45 minutes. This person was like, I have a 20-pound doodle, and they're looking for somebody who's priced reasonably, $60 or less. So you could add something along to that. Since there's no regulation at all, no licensing, no reviewing at all, you can go to Walmart, pick up a pair of clippers, and call yourself a pet groomer. It's hard to know who is safe for your pets. It's important to know that someone who employs legally W-2 makes a livable wage, $30 plus an hour. And again, this was according to the area. In the area we live in, a very cheap place to live is $2,000 a month. So you would need to make at least $30 an hour to be comfortable where we live. Must charge a minimum of $100 an hour. Since we need another 50,000 more groomers in the U.S. by 2030 to just replace those retired, not including the giant surge of poodle mixes when people used to have bath dogs like Labs or Golden, it's important to be aware that price shopping should be the last thing on your mind. We've had 4 pet grooming salons close in Rhode Island in the past year. Expect to see another 2 to 3 this year. Now, remember, that's a 45-minute long state. In a 45-minute long state, we've had 4 close. Okay. And I expect to see another 2 or 3 this year. No one can find employees. It takes 2 to 3 years to make a finished groomer. So if someone is charging $60 here on the island, right? So, where we live, again, it's an expensive area. I would be very careful. They have to be cutting corners somewhere since there is no regulation or governing body. If there is an issue, there's really no one to report to. I'm not here to shame you or speak down to you, but I do think people assume dog groomers are licensed, and then most have 0 professional training, no CPR training, or their staff doesn't. Independent contractors, which means that if your dog gets injured or dies, they don't have insurance to cover the injuries, vet bills, losses. And again, since dogs are legal property, they do not have to pay above their value, which depreciates like a car. Just be careful. There are so many wonderful groomers, but those who are here for the long term and won't get burned out, won't cut corners, and won't treat your pet, who will treat your pet with kindness and respect, have to charge a livable wage. Okay. And again, that's where I linked in there the Doodle Pro article. And I really like the Doodle Pro article that we did. We did a great podcast. And again, it allows you to say, here's a professional who's on Doodle's sides and a groomer who speaks to our industry, talking about these things. And in that podcast, and I love, she did a really great job. We don't always see eye to eye. We just don't. Right. I think, I wouldn't say I'm a Doodle fan. Right. But what I do like about it is she really does break down. Again, if they click that link, they're going to come here. It's going to give them a breakdown. Right. And they can actually listen to it. And what I love is they've got the key topics. They've got questions here. Right. And they can actually look at this. Right. How does the grooming cost break down? Right. And, hand scissoring. And so what I love is you guys can share this and you can save yourself so much sanity. Because again, it's not you being the bad guy. You can be like, oh, here's a great article. Here's a great article for you to check out, by the Doodle Pro. Right. And it goes over things. So like this says, here's the price point. Don't mind me. I'm looking at let me pop this open so I can read it and do this. And again, I think these are really great questions. Let me look this up. Yeah, cost breakdown. We talk about, 30% to payroll, receptionist, bathers, no price increases for decades, right? COVID-inspired retirements. We need lots of people. I know there was one down here where it talked about pricing. I like that. And she was very nice, right? Optimal grooming things. We talked about grooming. We talked about Poodle My Doodle. That was so funny. Wrapping it up, Doodle Guard should prepare to pay $200 to $500 every 4 weeks to maintain a reasonable level of grooming. It's an investment that pays off. And then she has all these quotes, right? So, and again, so it allows you to either quote them and say, hey, here's some great things. And again, they've also got some cheat sheets and things like that. So I think that they're a great resource for you guys. And again, it's not you being the bad guy. It's not you saying the things. It's letting another professional say the things. And I think she has the best of intentions. I'm not a super big Doodle person. But I think of all the people who we could have speak for us, or at least speak to Doodle owners, I'd rather have someone like that who respects us as an industry and wants people to actually take care of their dogs. I have a few more questions already pre-screened, but if you guys have questions and you're here live, don't be afraid to post. So this was an interesting post. So someone had asked, has anyone implemented a membership model specifically with tiered pricing? I'm going to do a creative way. So we talk about the silver, gold, platinum in membership pricing. And a lot of you guys are like, I want to do it creatively. And I'm like, cool, you can totally do it creatively, but it has to make sense. I had one student who wanted to have like a nautical theme, which was super cute, but it didn't just ignore crazy back there. But it didn't really make any sense to clients. It was like seashell, like palm tree, and coconut. It's like, okay, they're different names of different, different packages, but they didn't actually make any sense. You couldn't tell what was the hierarchy of them. And it's important to have them be hierarchy because then you can say, okay, if you want that, you would need to move up to platinum, right? There's been a few things where it's like got a hierarchy, but I couldn't tell naturally what the hierarchy is. And if I can't tell what the hierarchy is, it's really hard for me to sit there and say, okay, this makes any sense to me. Even things like, and I know it's really silly, but like things like Starbucks, right? Even though their drink names are kind of made up, they've kind of created their own sense of sizing. The sizing makes sense. It goes from a short to a tall. From a tall to a grande, right? So grande means big. Then to a venti. Venti, basically a made-up word, but it also kind of means 20. So it's a 20-ounce drink. Then a Trenta. Trent is 30, right? So it makes sense, right? But even then, you still have so many people sitting there going, I don't know what size drink. What's a medium? Right? I don't know what size drink. What's a large? My mom has an Americano every time we hang out, and she still has no idea what a large is. She's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I want that like Americano thingy, but like large. I'm like, okay, so you want a venti Americano? And she's like, yeah. But if you asked her how many shots of espresso it has, she has no idea, right? And again, because there's not anything. The good news is, right, that we know that, in a venti, 20 vent, right? And even then. So I definitely think that there should always be tiers to just about everything. I'm a big fan of stacked things and tiered things. I think tiered pay is important. That way you have promotion and demotions. And the same thing with memberships. With the membership, you really need to have. Excuse you, crackhead. I'm on a call. Chill out. Just ignore him. You being cray-cray. I'm about to just grab you. Sit still. Crazy thing. So having, you okay? I'm just gonna calm down. Oh, you're gonna run. Be free. He's gonna jump on me. I'll see it happening. He's being crazy. What happened? Been doing nothing all day. He's like, I'm gonna be paying attention. He's in sport mode. He's in his little comb cut. That's what happens. He gets his bath and his blow dry, and a little bit of a poof haircut. Poofy. He's in sport mode. He's not quite so floofy. But yeah, so hierarchy, tiers makes life so much easier. So I hope that helps. And again, if you guys don't know about membership models, we actually have without being like salesy, right? We have a really great program. So we do have the membership model masterclass. And then if you guys are ever in need, we do have the membership model workshop. If you don't know what the membership models are, it's free. It's like an hour. We break down the 5 different membership models, the benefits, all of that right there. And then if you're interested, and that's, I should say, that is, let me put the link. Boop, 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 boop. And that's right here. That's savvygroomer.com/MW. It's a membership workshop. And then for the membership model masterclass, boop, 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 boop. Nice and easy. savvygroomer.com/MM. And what's nice about the membership is it's definitely a very different way of doing business. I'm a big fan of it. And we did have an attorney create contracts for you guys, examples of them that was really important to me, that if we're going to teach you guys how to do memberships, how to do it in a way that's legal, you're actually going to get these things done. So it's one of my favorite topics. We haven't really been talking about it a lot right now because we have hire, manage, and pay. We've been working a lot on getting employees legal, paying them livable wages. And because of that, we haven't really invested a lot of time in talking about the memberships. We will again, but it's like anything, right? Like we have to focus on a lot, having you guys pay attention to things, but I'm a big fan, big fan. Okay. So we had somebody who asked for the breakdown charts of how they pay your groomers. So just like pricing, this is very, very personal. So because we want to have our employees paid, ideally 30% or less, there's so many things, because it's like the chicken or the egg. Do we do your pay based on your prices, or do we change your prices to fix how you're paying your employees? It really is the chicken or the egg. Some people, they figure out what a livable wage is for their employees, and then they make their prices change accordingly. Or on the flip side, we might have somebody who says, okay, I need to make sure that I keep my percentage down to 30%. So I'm going to figure out my hourly wages based on that. I will say this. I actually was talking about this during one of the coaching calls I had today. We teach the point system, and the point system creates a system where your prices are based on your points, and then your pay is both hourly and production. So how do I explain that really quickly? What that basically means is that your hourly wage is based upon my assumed production and your agreement of that assumed production worth of grooms and points, right? Because again, if you're grooming Psycho over here, he's actually very good for everything but getting a line cut and face trim. He's very bad for face trims, So if I agree to groom 4 to 6 Shih Tzus a day, that would be 2 points per Shih Tzu. So I would agree to an 8 to 12 point average day, right? And then if I took, right, those 8 points times, let's say I'm agreeing to work 5 days a week, right? So that's 40 points times 4 weeks a month. That's 160 points. So I'm going to assume you're going to do between 160 and about 200 points a month. And I'm going to have a minimum and a maximum. Why? Because then you're going to have a minimum amount of work that I expect of you. So if you call out, you need to make up that work. These are the agreed upon points. And in the agreed upon points is where I'm going to guarantee you an hourly wage. So you can't really milk the clock. You can't milk the clock if I'm having you agree upon a monthly production worth of points. Your hourly wage is essentially based upon what we've agreed a minimum and a maximum will be. And your minimum amount of points should be based on no more than 30% of gross profit based upon the amount of grooms you will do. Now, why would I do more than my minimum, right? That's because you want to have production bonuses. And again, that's not a cut of how much you make. It's based on points. And instead of it being, okay, if I do 101 points, I get this. If I do 105, I do this. I would do it based on tiers. We're actually going to be teaching this in the Pay Masterclass. And if you guys haven't checked out the Pay Masterclass, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of all the things I do, obviously. Not to be kind of, I don't know. This is something we're teaching right now in our membership, and I'm really loving it. So in the Savvy Groomer membership, we figured out how to actually teach you guys how to pay legally W-2. I'm a big fan of this. We have Jen Matchison helping us teach it. It's been a lot of fun. But in Pay, in Canva, I know this is coming up. Let me pop this open and give you guys a little sneak peek. We give examples, and again, with no context, you guys not understanding the majority of it, and again, it's not easy. We teach things like points time off. calculating your points. And essentially what you're doing is you're removing the amount of money that someone is earning from how much they're getting paid, because it's not really appropriate for an employee to sit there and look at how much money they earn versus you earn. Because ultimately, it's not really any of their business how much I make, right? It's not really any of their business how much money the business makes. So, and here's an example, right? So you have groomer tier B. If you guys have ever heard me talk about, we actually have groomer tier A, B, C. You would obviously give them names, but for ease, we call groomer tier B. We're going to assume they make 22 bucks an hour in this example, right? In this example, they average 18 points a day. So they did an extra dog a day. And so they're going to receive their quarterly bonus, right? And so here we go. So this is where we would do the math, right? Did they get the extra 100 points per quarter? Yeah. So then they get a bonus. And then again, in this example, they get $1,000 bonus. And you might be like, okay, well, in the class, we break down, I can't give you it all away, but in the class, we break down how you would do the math, right? We show you how to do the math, because the math needs to be based on your prices. The math needs to be made on your point system. And everyone's different. Everyone's doing different amounts of dogs and values dogs differently, and again, I'm using examples, but just as an example of like, what are some bonus examples? And again, these are quarterly. So if they do 100 to 150 extra points, I'm going to give them $1,000 quarterly bonus. If they do 151, they get a $1,500 bonus. And as you can see, someone who really wants to earn more money can get a nice, healthy lump sum and have the benefit of having a steady paycheck, especially as people want to buy houses. They want to be adults. I can't tell you how many groomers are like, I can't buy a house. I can't buy a house because the bank won't take 50% commission, right? I can't tell you how many groomers are not capable of leaving their shitty relationship because they need their spouse's steady income to do anything. My goal is that our industry can create a more stable, sound place where people can grow, and there's so many ways we can do that, but part of that is creating sustainable pay structure. It is creating professional, sustainable ways of us being able to interview and manage our employees. Again, on the coaching call today, we never taught, in the coaching call, I said, this is the way we need to do this in order to promote them, give them a promotion. If they're doing really well, we want to appreciate them, or they can stay where they are and get a production bonus. Or some people we need to demote. She has an employee who's constantly calling out. And I said, okay, so here's what we do. We agree upon how many points this groomer is going to have, right? And then when they call out, it's up to them to make their points up. If they don't, that's fine. But then come the next quarter, we're going to either give them a PIP, which is a performance improvement plan, or we're going to demote them. When was the last time any of us talked in the grooming industry about demotion? We need to create promotable positions and demotable positions. And that doesn't mean I'm a groomer and I'm getting demoted to a bather. Maybe that is in a different tier, in a different hourly wage. But if I get 30% or 40% or 50% or 60%, no matter how good or bad of an employee I am, what's my incentive to be a good employee? What's my incentive to be a good team player? We have to be able to manage people in a way that we reward the good people, the good employees, and we punish the bad. And that doesn't always mean just fire everyone. Some people need a little bit of punishment. They don't just need to be fired. Some people need to learn how to be better employees. And I understand a lot of us are like, it's not my responsibility, but it is. If you're going to manage people, if you're going to be a boss, you need to learn how to boss people and how to lead them, not just, stick them in a room and hope they can do their job. Well, guys, if there is no more questions, I am going to love you and leave you until next month. So it's been such a wonderful time to get to talk to you all. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to answer your questions. Nicole says, yes, this has turned around one of my employees and now he's exactly. See, turn around one of my employees, and now he's the best one we have. A lot of times we need to give employees the opportunity to grow. We just can't throw people away. We don't want to be thrown away. We have to be able to do it, but it has to come from a place of stability in us, and that's a lot of work. But I believe in us as an industry. I know we deserve more, and I know we can be even more. So guys, I adore you all. I will see you guys the last Monday of June. I don't know what day that is. Let me look. Because I'm going away. I'm going to a baby shower in June. But I will be back. So this is June 26th. So I will see you guys on June 26th for virtual happy hour. In the meantime, you guys should definitely, I know I'm like the worst salesperson. I'm like, yeah. Till then. Oh, God, I know. Anyway, so till then, definitely check out my website. Like I said, if you want to become an affiliate, you're more than welcome to. I want to thank my students so much. You guys are already sharing my content. The least I can do is pay you when you guys do that. We have so many things like, for our paid for stuff. We have our membership. I really feel like that's our best. We're in the middle of doing the pay master class. And then next month, we're going to be teaching the commission to hourly, how to switch your employees from commission to hourly. We have so many different master classes now. We have the business workshop library. And of course, if you guys are interested in learning about coaching, we also have that. And I have so many free resources. We're actually going to be taking a little bit of a break to work on our free content. We're going to be working on our YouTube, making it more user-friendly, making it more newbie-friendly. We literally have 200 and, oh God, let me look at that. Someone was telling me, let me look at how many hours of free content. It was crazy. I think we have like 230 something videos for Savvy Groomer now. You'll look this up. We have 240. Today is 240 videos for you guys. So we're going to spend the next at least 1 to 2 months working on getting those videos organized, maybe pulling those wonderful nuggets that we have from them. So if you haven't already, we have a great podcast. You're more than welcome to join our free Facebook group, Savvy Pet Professionals. I'm in there, not as much as I should be, not gonna lie, but I'm in there in more than I am in any other Facebook other than my membership Facebook, which is my Savvy, my group mentoring. There I like to spend the most time because it's different. They're my people. Like they've invested in me, I invest in them. And that's why I come hang out with you guys. So I'm going to finish up my French martini in a wine glass. And I hope you guys have had a wonderful time. I know I have. Yes, thank you guys. Thank you for all the thank yous. And I'm so glad it was helpful. Please feel free, guys. If you like this stuff, become an affiliate. Go ahead and share our information. That way you can go ahead and get paid for it. And as well, of course, we appreciate when you share and you don't make any money either way, but we want to make sure you're making money because we appreciate it. And yeah, you can always leave us a review on Facebook, whatever you want to do. The biggest thing is we're here to change the grooming industry, and we appreciate when you guys let us get to do that. All right, guys. So as always, happy grooming.